Thank you so much for joining me today, Ellen. How are you?
Doing well, Mark. Thank you. Busy, but well. It's good to be
Yeah.
busy.
Yes, I agree. It is good to be busy. You never have time to twiddle your thumbs. So,
Yep.
we're here today to talk about international seed issues, and you've been at the forefront of one for a while now. You are now the president of Seeds Canada, which is Canada's new national seed organization. Can you give us the 411 on Seeds Canada? Tell us a little bit about what it is and why it was formed for people who don't know.
Sure. Would be quite happy to. So Seeds Canada is the amalgamation of four of our main seed industry components, I would say, within Canada. Our official start date was February 1, but as you mentioned, the discussions, the intense discussions, I think, have gone on for a couple of years. But for sure, I was on the board of the seed trade for quite a while, and I have, I think, documents going back to almost 2009 when it first came up. So it has been a goal of industry, for quite a while. And the reason the discussions happened were, numerous, of course. So one thing we sort of looked at ourselves as somewhat fractured industry. So we're all connected, but kind of all operating independently. So the discussion was, how do we get everybody in the room to better understand and have the discussions that we needed to have? We also had that message from government to kind of get ourselves better aligned so that when we are approaching them on topics, they aren't hearing multiple similar, probably, concerns and issues, but that we're coming to them already with an aligned, I guess, position on things. Um, so yes, so right now then Seeds Canada, I think around 200 members, the voice of the seed sector. So we have everyone now, members from all of those segments under one roof. So our seed analysts, plant breeders, distributors, producers, and others involved in the seed industry. So it's good to have everybody now at the table having the discussion to have that hopefully unified voice to go forward.
Now, the ISF Virtual Congress just took place last week. So, in a way, Seeds Canada is sort of making its international debut at the moment. What do you want the world to know about Seeds Canada and its role in the global seed landscape?
So yes, so we just interesting fact, we just did our lobby days a month or two ago, and so we reviewed all those seed stats that involve Canadian seed industry. So we export, I think, over 700 million annually in seed exports to over 100 countries. So that's the first thing. And Seeds Canada, again, has taken all the seed issues from our amalgamating partners, and now we're addressing them together. So certainly our participation in the global market, I think, is extremely important to Canada and also the countries we work with. So the role in the global seed landscape, again, whether it's imports or exports, to be at the table and have the discussions that are critical on a global basis. I don't, we're not an individual, globally. I mean, we all interact and we all have to have those discussions. And certainly Canada and Seeds Canada's position to continue what we had done with our industry before. So with everyone now at the table.
Well, Seeds Canada was technically about 5 years in the making, although some people would say it was 10 years and more in the making. That's a long time. And uniting organizations, uniting an industry is definitely not easy. I don't think I have to tell you that. For you, what's been the biggest challenge of this whole journey?
So yeah, I mean, when you look at the whole initiative and how many people have been involved from all those segments coming forward, I was part of the discussions as a board member. I wasn't the one at the table, but I know the biggest challenge probably, and this goes for anything, is getting everyone to, take off their individual hats. And you have to be aware and you have to think about what your concerns are as you're building that new organization from a I'm going to call it a personal level, but from your organization. So the biggest challenge I think in everyone's journey was being able to get past that and to sit down at the table and discuss, the bigger picture and what was important to the industry as a whole, not just uh, these are the things we're coming forward with. So, right, and a negotiation, you have to give and take. And I think we ended up at that for sure. But at the start, and human nature, right, to come to the table with that somewhat protective stance. But we got there and moved forward. But yeah, I think that probably was the biggest challenge was getting everybody to move past their own needs per se.
Well, on the flip side of that, what do you feel your biggest success was during all this from a personal level? Because you worked long and hard to help make this happen. And I don't want to focus just on challenges, but also on successes. What do you think your number one
Mhm.
success was?
Well, the biggest success was we made it. And I would say, it took a couple of tries. Again, common in mergers that you don't get it done the first go round. But I would say, of course, we had our first vote, and one of the partners voted not to move forward. And I think the ability of the remaining partners to turn it around, we had to review some things. We had some staff from the four remaining work really hard to review what we needed to do to get us to move forward. And we made our February 1st inauguration date. I think that was a huge accomplishment. And I think, we're moving forward very well. So I think it's all, I think on the personal perspective, it's just moving forward well. And yeah, the making February 1 was a huge accomplishment, I would say, for everyone involved.
Well, you're no stranger to the international audience. You've been very active at the international level for many years, including at ISF. What's the biggest lesson you've learned over the years about the international seed trade and the seed business that you're bringing to your role at Seeds Canada?
So I think when you start to move outside of your little bubble, I would say, it becomes clear we're a global community. And the issues that we have in Canada are issues that they face elsewhere, or issues they're facing there are ones that can certainly occur here. So I think, the biggest thing, and the biggest thing I can maybe bring back to Seeds Canada is that we can learn from each other, from experiences from each other, take issues that have happened there and apply them here, and just have that communication, maybe borrow from their experiences to hopefully come up with solutions for our members at Seeds Canada as well. So yeah, remaining active within that international community, I think will be very important for Seeds Canada moving forward and for our members.
I'm going to ask you for a moment here before we wrap up to take off your Seeds Canada hat and put on your CNM Seeds hat specifically. This is a busy time for the Canadian seed industry. We just had this big amalgamation to form Seeds Canada. We're undergoing the regulatory modernization process. We're having some discussions at the federal level about our novel food regulations. There's a lot happening right now. What real tangible benefits to seed businesses do you see coming out of all this?
So from a CNM perspective, as we go through all these changes, whether it's the amalgamation, as you said, regulatory change, et cetera, lots of things on the go. But I'm going to borrow from a Seeds Canada statement, and I'm going to say modern, diverse, inclusive, competitive, fosters innovation, and supports continuous improvement. And really, that for CNM is very important as we move forward. So, as a company, we work with global breeding partners. We want to make sure regulations are in place to encourage them to continue to work with us. It's very key for our business that happens, that we can bring new varieties forward in a predictive, cost efficient way without over regulation and over burdensome regulatory approvals. So very important for our business. One of the reasons we're part of Seeds Canada, of course, and one of the reasons I participate in some of these discussions as well. But But I think that really encapsulates it, right? Modern, diverse, inclusive, competitive fosters innovation. So very key for our business.
Thanks so much for your time today, Ellen. I'm hoping next time we do an interview like this, it can be in person. It's been at least probably about a year and a half now since we've seen one another. So looking forward
Yes.
to chatting again soon, and have a great day.
Yes, you too. Thanks for the opportunity, Mark.
Take care.